define God as?
Well, it's really hard to like give a label to God since you're the one that's saying God is real. If you define God as a dog, then obviously I agree he exists. If you define God as a omnibenevolent being who's omnipotent, omniscient, etc., I would say he doesn't exist.
Well, let's just go by what God says, right? Because God doesn't use the words omnipotent, only benevolent or omniscient, right? He does say that he is the most merciful and the most powerful, 100%. But I don't tend to think of like all powerful like most people do, because I don't think he could create a rock that he can't pick up, right? Because that's like all powerful. It's honestly illogical for anything to be all powerful, and God is logic, right?
Wait, so you agree that true contradictions can't exist in any possible world?
What's that?
You agree that true contradictions cannot exist in any possible world?
I don't know what you mean by that. True contradictions.
Do you know what a contradiction is?
Yes, I do. But what is a true contradiction?
A true contradiction is literally just a contradiction.
Yeah. I mean, contradictions can exist. I don't see what the problem is.
Okay, so you aren't a classical logician, and so what's the contradiction in God being able to do anything he wants then? Like lift a rock so powerful that go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. I don't believe that. I don't believe God can make a rock so heavy he cannot pick it up. Like, that's just weird. I don't think of God in like human terms. God was before creation, right? He is outside of it. He doesn't have human characteristics. Like, I don't even start to say things like that about God, like God picking up things, right? Like making a rock that he can't pick up. So I just tend to listen to what he says about himself and go with that, right? So a lot of people like to make up a whole bunch of stuff about God, right? Like, they love to make up stuff, especially the Christians. That is their favorite thing to do. Like, Jesus is God. And it's like, no, Jesus is not God. He says he's not God. He says don't worship him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm going to ask two questions before we get into actual arguing.
Go ahead.
One, are you positing Christianity? And two, did God exist before time?
I don't believe in time, but no, I'm not positing what Christians propose as God, because they believe in a man that died on a cross as God, right? Or triune God, which none of that is in the scripture whatsoever. I'm not positing that at all, right? It is the God of the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah, but it is not what they say God is. Now, I don't know how many Muslims or what do you know about Islam. They do have it correct from what I've seen of the religion and what I've practiced in the religion. So it is 100% correct. The Quran, the Bible, and the Torah, what it says God is, it's the God I believe in.
Yeah. So before we go into this conversation, to justify that time exists, time is going to be denotatively the rate of change. Change exists by conditionally through spatial action. You just uttered a word, therefore that follows that time exists.
It's a concept of a bunch of series of actions that we denote. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so I just gave the argument for time existing.
Yeah, but it doesn't exist like as a material thing. It doesn't exist as substantial. It's a concept.
Wait,
right?
I don't agree. Wait, I'm a physicalist. I don't believe immaterial things exist. I just gave an argument that posits it being materialistic. That being that it's by conditionally spatial action. If you utter a word, wait, go ahead. What do you disagree?
That's not material, though.
Yeah, spatial action is material. What spatial action is to be composed of space and physicality.
How much does it weigh? How much does time weigh?
How much does time weigh? It doesn't. I'm not talking about. Do you understand time?
It doesn't have mass.
Yeah, let me answer that. Let me answer that.
Okay.
Yeah, so how much time weighs is relative to what's representing time. Time isn't something that's quote unquote a concept. We represent time because the representations is what posits time existing. The same mass, we say a dog exists because a dog exists. We see a dog existing. We see a representation.
A dog has weight. A dog has mass. Time does not have mass.
No. The actions that represent time existing have mass. It's like, for example,
it doesn't work that way. You can't use the actions as something to represent the existence.
Yes, we can. We can use the action of, for example, you walking to represent the concept of someone walking. That doesn't mean the concept is immaterial.
That means that the person can be represented as being in existence, but not time. You can literally think of any concept.
Do you agree that change exists?
I could say your dreams are real because you dreamt them. That doesn't work that way.
Well, I don't know what you mean by real, but do you agree that change exists?
Time is only for within this universe.
Wait,
God's outside of this universe.
Let me speak to this. Okay, Joe. Do you agree that change exists?
Change?
Yes.
Yes, things change. If
things change, then time exists biconditionally. That's what time is.
It doesn't.
Yes, time is
It
the rate of
doesn't.
change. Yes, yes, yes.
Something can happen. Something can happen. Something can change in an instance without time. It
I don't
being
know
a
what
part
you
of the
mean by
equation
it
whatsoever.
changing an instance is a point in time in which it goes through change.
Anyway, so
Yes, it does.
we'll agree to disagree because your definition of real and mine just appear to be different, right? By real, I mean matter, energy, substantial weight,
And
and
I'm
mass,
saying that when
right?
we utter the word time, that is represented by what's going on within reality, quote unquote, which is spatial action.
No, this action, saying the word does not make it exist. I cannot say nothingness and make nothingness
Oh,
exist,
there's no
can
such
I?
thing as nothingness because to be nothing is to have. Hold on,
If
let me explain.
there's no
Let me
such thing as
explain. Let me explain.
time.
Let me explain. Let me explain. To be nothing is to have no properties. However, nothingness has the property of having no other properties, so that doesn't exist. And to exist is to be a value of a variable. If we can utter a word, that means it exists in the domain of discourse. Therefore, it exists overall because reality is what there is,
The
which
word
is going to
exists,
be
but not
governing.
time. Not the word. Not the concept of the word you're saying. Just because the word exists does not mean what the word is portraying
Wait,
exists
wait,
as
wait.
well.
No, the problem is the utterance exists, and then the representation of the utterance exists, which is spatial action. So it does follow that it does exist.
No, if I can't understand what you're saying, then there is no representation of the adoration.
Wait, just because you don't understand, just because there's a lack of understanding by your end, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist overall. That's just
It
that's
does if the person
fallacious.
does not speak the same language and you're by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Just because they don't
it doesn't
speak the
work that
same
way.
language doesn't mean that the domain of discourse doesn't
Then
exist.
I could literally say anything and make anything exist.
Wait, that's fine. A physical existence isn't the
It's
same
not
thing as a
fine.
wait. Calm down. A physical
I'm talking
existence
about
isn't the same thing as a domain existence. I'm saying that when we utter the
don't
word
re-
time, hold on, hold on. When we utter the word time, and then we have a specific the definition of time, if that definition is represented, which you agreed it is by virtue of spatial action, then it will biconditionally exist, both
No, I'm not. I
concretely
do
and
not
in
agree by
virtuals.
any type of spatial action that time exists. It is a concept. It exists as a
Yeah.
concept,
See,
and
I'm
that is
asking,
it.
what is the argument as to why immaterial things exist?
There is no argument as to why immaterial things exist. They're
So
not
you don't
material. They
believe?
do not exist. The definition of existence is having mass and energy.
No, no. The
If you do not have
definition of
mass and energy, you do
existence
not
is to
exist.
be no,
And
no. Quine,
Kirikin's law of
quine.
metaphysics says nothing unreal
Wait,
exists.
no, no, that's
And
not
to
what
be
metaphysics
real, you
says.
must have mass.
Wait, no, no. Quine posits that to exist is to be a value of a
Kirikin,
variable. That's what I'm agreeing with. I don't understand what our argument for existence being
Kirikin's law of metaphysics says nothing unreal exists, and real is mass. You have to have mass
Wait,
to
that's not
exist.
what metaphysics studies. That's not even what it says at all, actually.
That's
But
what Kirikin's law of
wait,
metaphysics says.
wait. There
Now,
can be a specific philosopher that posits that. Doesn't mean that overall metaphysics agrees with
physicists.
that.
Okay, it's the law. So
No, no. There's
everybody
a
agrees
law
with it.
under a specific philosophical view. That's not the same thing as saying it's a
It's not
universal.
philosophical, it's physicists. Not a
Well, yes, physics is
philosophy.
philosophical. Classical mechanics is going to be within philosophy, brother. But
And in
anyways,
the originally it was, yeah. Now it's just
no, no,
mathematics.
everything is everything is philosophical. But I don't know
Oh,
what
well,
you said.
technically, sure. Yeah, I mean,
No,
it's the study of
by
life.
definition, I don't know what you mean by technically. It is by definition, but yeah.
Oh,
Once
no,
again, I gave an argument
I'm,
as to why. Wait, I gave an argument as to why my definition of time exists. Therefore, we can move on.
okay.
Okay. So you said since okay now with this definition, since I did pause and give an argument as to why this definition of time exists, what is the argument as to why God is able to create time without time? Go ahead.
I do not believe that. Okay, I don't believe in things like time. You know what I'm saying?
No,
But I
I'm
believe
saying
God.
okay. You believe in change though. How can he change like basically without change?
How can he change that? God has all the properties, right? If there wasn't a
What?
God, then there would be nothing, right? But
Wait,
he
what's the
has the
argument for
properties
that?
to create properties,
Wait,
right?
okay, no, that presupposes that he can change. How do you have the property of change if the property of change is non-existence? That's illogical.
Okay, let me ask you. I'm not talking about non-existence here. I'm talking about God, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
What's the argument for why he exists though? You haven't gave one.
okay, because nothingness, if there was no God, could not create anything because you said yourself nothing has no properties. That is the property of nothingness to not have properties.
Wait, that's not what I.
So,
Wait,
are you
tell you I believe time is eternal. I'm asking, what is the argument as to why God exists? Why can't everything just be eternal? Or most things be eternal? I apologize.
I mean, honestly, that's okay, right? That doesn't necessarily go against scripture. No,
That eternal entity has a will. Hold on, because you're saying he's all powerful. I mean, not all powerful. You're saying he's the most powerful being or entity. How is he the most powerful entity if it's just an eternal entity? That's the only property that he has.
that's not the only property that he has. He is
Or,
the most merciful. He is the most powerful. He is the.
I'm saying
He's got
no,
99
that
properties.
presupposes that God exists. I'm saying if the universe is just eternal and you're trying to say that's co-aligning with your definition of God, therefore the universe will be God. I'm saying
It's
that
not my
universe,
definition.
I mean, whatever
God's definition of God.
Sure, God's definition, presupposing that God exists, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying that
I can prove God exists.
Okay, what's the argument? Go ahead.
My argument is there is information that is in the Bhagavad Gita, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the books of Thoth, the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, and they all say the same thing, and it agrees with astrophysics, and there's no possible way any of those people at those times could have known these things unless it was God, because God is the one who says that he gave those words to those people.
Is there a logical contradiction? Is there a logical contradiction in all these people knowing these things?
There is no possible way unless it is God.
Okay, so what's the argument as to why it contradicts all these modal scopes?
All the what?
What is the argument as to why it contradicts all these modal scopes?
What do you mean contradicts? I didn't say anything about contradicting.
You just said there is no other possibility unless it's God, meaning that it's a contradiction under every single other modal scope.
Yes, and when all impossibilities are eradicated, the only thing that remains must be true.
Wait, just because something is possible doesn't mean
Arthur Conan Doyle.
Well, I'm asking you that is an argument. I'm asking you, why is it contradictory under every other modal scope that these people know X thing?
They didn't know that thing. There's no possible way they could have known these things.
Wait, that's presupposing the conclusion. That's circular.
No, it's not. It is the only conclusion because all other possibilities have been eliminated.
Wait, how is it logically impossible though? That's the point of contention.
It's okay because the people who wrote the Bible, when they wrote it, did not believe in these things.
Wait, that's fine. But does that make it logically impossible?
It makes it, 100%, because it is not only in the Bible, it is in the Quran and the Torah, and these people don't even agree with each other. They don't even know that. They don't even know that it's stuff.
You're arguing your own personal epistemic impossibility. Why does that make it logically impossible? That's the point of contention. You keep going circular.
It's logically impossible because it's invisible.
What is invisible?
The magnetosphere.
Magnetosphere. Why does that make it logically? Also, no, it's not. But why does that make it logically impossible?
There's no possible way they could have known that an invisible bubble surrounds our planet.
Why is it possible? Because it's possible. Why is it impossible? Because it's impossible. It's impossible. Impossible. You just keep repeating yourself.
No, I'm not. You keep asking me the same damn question.
Because you haven't given actual justification.
Why is it impossible?
I'm asking why is it impossible? Because the question hasn't been answered properly.
Because we discovered it in 1960.
What is that, bro? How does that mean it contradicts any of the three laws of thoughts?
The three laws of thoughts. What are you saying?
The three laws of thoughts is the determinator for what's logically impossible. It's the classical logic.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
You just said you knew what logic was. You knew what a contradiction is.
Yes.
Okay, if you know what a contradiction is, do you know what a logical contradiction is?
Yes, it is not. It is impossible for anything but God to have given them this information. Okay, there's no way the people back then.
Wait, can you define a logical contradiction since you know it?
There's no possible way that they could have known this stuff back then.
Wait, can you define
because they don't even know it to this day. Do you know what the magnetosphere is?
Wait. So once again, you're arguing for an epistemic.
Do you know what the magnetosphere is?
I'll answer the question after. You're saying it's epistemically impossible, as in it's impossible to your knowledge that they would have knowledge on this thing.
I have knowledge that they did not know this thing.
Hold on. I'm asking you, can you define a logical contradiction since you're saying you can't?
Yes, it defines itself. It is the contradiction with using logic. It is a logical contradiction.
What is logic here? What is the determinator? How do we determine what's logic here? Go ahead.
Knowledge, determination, reason.
That's not what
all the things. All the things that have defined logic since the beginning of time.
That's not what logic is. First, logical overall is the science of reasoning. We're specifically talking about classical logic, which is the three laws of thoughts. You have the law of identity, which states each entity is identical with itself. The law of non-contradiction, which states a proposition is either true or false. There is no way that it can be both true and false in the same respect. And the law of exclude the middle, which states it's either true or false. There's no middle ground. I'm asking, where is the logical contradiction in all these people knowing X thing? How does it contradict
They didn't know these things.
Okay, what's the contradiction in them not knowing these things? I'm asking you.
The contradiction is because it is invisible. They could not have known it.
Oh, yes. How can't they? They can't. That can't is a modal claim. You're saying it cannot happen. However, I'm asking, why can it not happen?
Because they didn't know about it. They said they didn't believe in it. They wrote about it.
A belief is distinct from not knowing. JTB is what it means to have knowledge. But
okay, so the people who wrote...
A belief is just mental attitude. JTB is just going to be the criteria for knowledge, justified true belief. That's distinct.
None of that matters or changes the reasoning behind what I'm saying at all. No, it doesn't. Listen, the people who wrote these things do not know that they are writing about this thing that exists. They did not believe in it. They wrote that.
Okay, well, why does that mean that God exists?
Because it says it is God who is giving this information.
Yeah, but why is it logically contradictory that it isn't?
Because what else could it be?
That's an argument from ignorance. That's
No, it's not. It's not an argument from ignorance because it says who it is. And as a matter of fact, it contradicts your argument. Can you read chapter? Can you read second book? No, hold on. Can you read 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 5 for me?
Yeah, I'm just asking a question. How is
Can you read 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 5 for me? It answers your question.
So when
I'll read it for you.
Why is it
for this they willingly are ignorant of that by the word of God the heavens are of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water.
Okay, how do you know that these people actually wrote it instead of the book just telling you that these people wrote it? That's the problem. Why isn't it all from the same person? Is there actual verification of this, or are you just going to keep making claims? I'm done with this.
Most of it is from God, right? The Quran is
that presupposes that God exists.
Yes, and God does exist.
Okay, you keep on going circular. The argument is that, well, these people wouldn't have known to do it because God is the one that's telling them to do it. I'm putting it to question.
If you're going to be rude and try to make fun of me with that little accent, you can just leave.
Oh wait, no, I was
not that important to me.
I was supposed to be making fun of you. That wasn't supposed to be making. You don't even sound like that. That wasn't supposed to mimic you, like your voice.
Look, how do you know anything is true?
Yeah, right? I know that's something. Yeah, I can verify something being true
from the word, right? From the logic that God gave us.
I was going to answer the question.
You've been talking nonstop, Infinity. You have infinity amount of words coming out of your mouth.
You asked me a question.
Be respectful.
But you asked me a question, and you cut me off right after. But go ahead.
No, finish.
No, go ahead.
I'm not trying to win a logic debate, right? I'm not trying to break down these little laws of logic stuff. I'm asking you, what else could it have been that knew these things? And if you can give me a better answer, then there may not be a God, right? But you don't even know these things that it's talking about.
Okay.
So if you would like to know about them and the magnetosphere and plasma in space and the water water surrounding the planet, then I'll tell you about them. And then you can tell me if there is anything else that could have told these people who wrote this book about this that describe it perfectly.
Okay, so
the logical contradiction is no way possible that anything but God could have known this stuff because we are just figuring it out now.
Wait, I understand the claim. You keep on saying that it's no way that this could be the case. This can't happen. This can't happen. That's just the claim. You're repeating yourself and saying it's impossible. That's literally circular.
It's impossible because you don't even know about this stuff.
I'll let you finish. And then for the prediction stuff, can you please stop cutting me off? You told me to be respectful, that you just cut me off. Anyways, for the prediction thing, I don't care about predictions. That isn't a valid induction. There's no argument as to why that's a valid induction.
And then
anyways, hold on. And then for the explanation point, I don't need to propose a specific way or metric in which how they know this thing is the case. All I'm saying is that you're presupposing it's specifically God. Why isn't it anybody else, or why isn't it something else?
Okay.
And once again, hold on. You're committing an argument of ignorance because you're saying, due to a lack of evidence. Due to a lack of evidence of another proposed scenario or explanation, it's going to be specifically God doing this thing. That isn't an argument. That's fallacious. And then for the other thing, you're all presupposing that this is even true because what's telling you, anyways. What's
blah 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 blah.
You stop cutting me off.
That's what it is. It's rabbit-minded.
Even though
his mind is too quick that he's passing up God. We spoke about that earlier. Remember that when I said people think that they're so smart.
I'm not done.
Sammy, guys, stop.
And then another thing you're presupposing is that all these people actually exist instead of it just being wrote in the scripture, which is once again presupposing that the scripture is true. That's the point of contention. Is the scripture true?
You're presupposing that you know what I'm talking about. First off, I'm not talking about any future predictions. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about astrophysics, and I'm talking about defined physical things that our science has proven exists, that is in these scriptures, right? And that is true 100% of the way. Now, it says it is God. I asked you what you would define as God, and I'm telling you that is that God, whatever it may be. If you want to call it Merlin or the Flying Spaghetti Monster, I don't care, but it says it's God. So I'm not talking about what you think my God is. I'm talking about what it says it is.
You're talking about what you think your God is. I literally said that cannot be God because your God has some type of properties that either one entail a contradiction or two are unprovable. Your God is unprovable.
No, they don't.
What I define God as, what I told you I view God as is actually provable. If I were to say God is a dog, I can empirically justify that God is a dog. If you say that God is omnipotent,
you cannot prove that God is a dog.
Hold on. my bad. I meant to say, if I define God as a dog, I can empirically justify that a dog exists. My bad. And then you're trying to say that your God exists. I'm saying the properties that you propose are unprovable. For example, if you were to say your God is the property, if you were to say your God has the property of being omnipotent, you cannot justify that he's omnipotent. But however, my property, I never said you did. I said if. It's an example. The same as your actual property that you're ascribing to the God is that he's the most powerful being in reality. I'm saying you cannot justify that. Instead, you're just making a claim. So when you say all these astrophysicists know this and stuff, sure, they can come to some type of conclusion. However, that doesn't mean that God is the one that's forcing them to get to this conclusion.
Okay, so here we go. You're not understanding any of this whatsoever. So let me just break it down for you. Okay, God is conscious. God is the most knowledgeable and has knowledge of things. That is properties that he is the most knowledgeable.
What's the arguments?
All the knowledge came from him. There is something called the magnetosphere that surrounds our planet. It is the seventh layer of our atmosphere, and it is created by the liquid iron core of our planet.
What does it do? Tell us what it does. Go ahead.
It's an electromagnetic field. Okay.
No, not what is it? What does it do? How does it function as distinct from what it is?
The electromagnetic field creates a magnetosphere. The magnetosphere.
What does that do for us?
It blocks all the solar radiation and solar wind.
Guess what? You want to know how the scientists can come to a conclusion? Because if hold on, wait, no.
There's no way 1,400 years ago these people would have known it unless it came from the creator who created it. That's what he's trying to tell.
Infinity, Sammy, hold on. Infinity, let me finish.
Wait, I'm trying to answer the question. I'm trying to answer the question.
No, I didn't finish talking. Okay, just let me finish. This magnetosphere blocks and separates waters from space. Now, this water is not liquid. It is in the form of plasma. It's the fourth state of matter. It is supercharged molecules of water and other heavy elements that surrounds our planet like a soup. And our planet's magnetosphere blocks all of it from coming in and destroying our atmosphere. I'm not done talking. It is the only reason we have an atmosphere is because of this magnetosphere.
Oh, my God. Okay?
We have found it is responsible for about 50% of the water that we have on Earth. This solar wind, this plasma from the sun. Okay? No, okay, you tell me about it. What else does it do?
Okay, thank you. Do not cut me off when I'm answering this question.
I'm going to, because you've been cutting me off the whole time. You're the rudest person I've ever talked to, and you have no manners. And you have no logic.
I was forced to let you finish, but yes.
You literally are reading from a script, and it's just annoying.
Stop cutting me off. I'm trying to answer the question. The question is, how can they possibly, please stop cutting me off. You did. I didn't
ask you a question.
I'm going to tell you the question you asked me. Stop cutting me off. The initial question you asked is, how can they come to this conclusion if God did not give them the knowledge? Correct?
No, I said there's no other way.
That's literally the initial question you asked. Can I answer the question, please?
You haven't even heard the entire. You haven't heard the evidence at all. You haven't listened to any of it. You literally said blah blah blah. Okay, yeah.
I have. Stop being disrespectful.
What did I say?
Can I give the answer to the question?
Can you predict what I was gonna say after this stuff?
I'm going to repeat what you just said after.
Can tell me the whole spiel of evidence that I'm gonna give you?
Oh my. Anyway, so to answer the question, because you're triggered, because there's no actual defensive. Anyways, so there's no defeat.
No, because you're annoying.
There's no argument against what you can't correct.
You're literally the rudest person ever. The entire time I was talking, you in the background going,
I'm saying it's incorrect, so you keep on cutting me off, so I can't answer the question. So to answer the question,
you don't have an answer.
Anyways, to answer the question, we come to the conclusion off of what is the case. We use observations. If it is the case that there is nothing, if it is the case that there's no radiation coming onto the Earth, then we can make the logical deduction or induction that something is blocking this radiation, and we can give it a label. It does not matter what the label is. The same as I can say the label is logos. I can say it's you. I can call you the label. As long as we make the, for example, logical deduction or induction. Logical deduction or induction that there's no radiation coming down to the Earth. We can make some type of inference. We can make some type of inference into what is causing or blocking this radiation. So yes, we have an argument against why isn't just God giving them this knowledge? They're giving them all observations.
Did you know there was water in space?
We went to space before. Yes, they can know. They don't have to.
We have not been to space. Do you know there was water in space?
Wait. So you don't believe we've been to space before?
No human has been to outer space.
Yes, we have. What? Yes, we have. What?
No, there's something called the Kármán line. It is a separation called the edge of space, and no human has passed it. There are astronauts have tried. They've either died or passed out. And the last thing they remember is their tongues boiling inside their heads. We have not gone to outer space.
The edge of space is not the same thing as space. Those are two different claims.
No, we have not passed the edge of space.
I said we went to space, not to the edge of space. That's two distinct claims.
We have been into, it's still in our atmosphere, but we have been very high.
We've been out of our atmosphere. What the fuck are you talking about?
No, humans have not. Only machines have. No, humans have not.
Humans within the machines have, yes. Humans have.
Humans have not. No,
Yes,
our magnetosphere is the seventh layer of our
we
atmosphere.
just disagree then. We agree.
No,
disagree.
it's not disagree. This is what they say. You're just incorrect.
No, this is what they say. No,
the seventh layer of the the seventh layer of our atmosphere is the magnetosphere, and it is the extent at which
I ain't gonna lie. You cutting me off and everything is not giving.
No, you're cutting me off. It's my turn to talk. You're just interrupting me the entire time. You're literally the most rude person ever. You think if you talk?
Yeah. Why would I be charitable and let you speak when you've cut me off?
You're not charitable. This is my live, and I'm about to kick you because you are rude.
Wait, you're rude to me, though.
And you're wrong. I'm not being rude. You literally started interrupting. Dude, infinity.
Nice, Doug. You're gonna
infinity, dude. You are impossible. You are not infinity. You are minute.
Wait, where's the not
give him Isaiah? Give him Isaiah 28:13. Just give him Isaiah 28:13, and then you can do what you want with him after that. Give him Isaiah 28:13.
Stop talking. Oh my God.
Give him Isaiah.
Okay, so if you want to have a conversation with the Almighty Infinity, you can speak. You can speak to me after.
You're too smart,
if you want to have a conversation with the Almighty,
talk over him. I can't even understand. All you did was talk over him.
Dude, infinity, you gotta go, buddy. You literally do not let anybody talk. You just talk nonstop. You're the most annoying person on the planet, hands down. I can't do it.
He's 100%. He's 100% Isaiah 28:13.
Isaiah 28:13 says, "But the word of the Lord was unto them